So this is the finished eye look that we'll be creating, and we'll be starting on fresh skin over here. I'm going to prime my eye with Urban Decay's Eden Primer Potion, and I'm popping that from the lid right up to the brow, and then just blending that out. So as you can see, that gives me a nice even canvas to work off. It also is going to stop my shadows from creasing, and it's going to help them appear more pigmented when I apply them. So for my shadows, I'm going to be working from the brow bone down into the crease and onto the lid. And the first shade I'm going to use is this creamy white highlight up here, and that is this shade right here from the Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette. And the brush that I'm using is the Nicola from Nima Brush, and this is just like a pointed tapered blending brush, and it's what I'll be using for the majority of my shadows for my crease colour. So I'm just taking that colour on the tip and popping it under the brow, starting at the arch and blending either way. I'm just taking a little bit at a time and just making it nice and bright under the brow. And then once I have that highlight on, I'm moving down to the yellow that's peeking through here. And for that shade, we're going to go old school into the Coastal Scents 88 palette and take this yellow right here, or any matte yellow will do. So again, on the same brush, I'm just going to blend that above my crease. And I'm going to be using the same colours under my eye, so I'm going to swoop that around and take it under the eye here as well. And then to help the yellow transition into the orange, I'm going to take a peachy shade, and that is this one right here, 314 from Inglot. So again, I'm going above my crease and blending it into that yellow. So you want to create a nice gradient. You don't want to cover the yellow, you want it to still peek through. You just want this peach to sit between the yellow and the orange. So again, we're going to move on down into the crease, and we're going to take an orange, and that is 335 from Inglot, and that is going more into the socket line and blending upwards into the peach. And then again, we'll swoop it down underneath as we did with the other shades. So after the orange, I'm just going to take a slight tint of like a dark pink, and that is this shade right here, again from the Coastal Scents 88 palette. And that is just going into the socket line and blending up a little bit, but not as high as the orange. And this is just going to help the purple blend into the orange. And then for our last crease colour, we're going to be adding this dark purple, and that is 308 from Inglot. So I'm just taking that on the very tip of the brush so I can keep it more precise. And again, just going right into the crease line, and I'm going to blend more back and forth rather than upwards. And then to pop that purple under the eye along the lower lash line just here, I'm going to move to a smaller brush. So it was just very small and detailed. This is one from Crown. It doesn't have a name on it though, so I'm not sure what number, but it's a Crown brush. So then for my lid, we're going to move to some shimmery shades, and I'm using a flat brush to pop those on. And the first one that I'm using as a base is this number 31 from Inglot, and that's going all over the lid. And then to brighten the inner third, I want to use a lighter shade, and that is 395 from Inglot. And then to darken the outer corner, I'm going to take a darker shade, and this is 452 from Inglot. So then onto our inner corner highlight here. First, I'm just going to take a base, and I'm going to be using Too Faced glitter glue, and I'm applying that with a Morphe E36 brush. And then for that sparkle, I'm going to be using Inglot's Stardust pigment in 118. I'm just patting that on over the base, starting right next to the teardrop where I want it to be brightest. I'm going to blend it slightly underneath and then blend it up slightly onto the lid. So that is all the shadows. And then for the liner, I'm just going to pop a nude pencil. This is from Rimmel. It's their number 5 Scandalise. I'm going to pop that into the waterline. And that just cleans it up, makes it a little bit brighter and gets rid of any redness. And then for the top lash line, I'm going to be taking a liquid purple liquid liner. This is from Sephora. It's number 14, Fancy Violet. So that's going just along the top lash line. I'm not winging it out. And then just for the corner of the liner, I'm switching back to my small detail brush, and I'm going to use that dark purple and just smoke out that corner so it doesn't end kind of at a dead line. So I just wanted to kind of blend into that shadow that we had going on there, so it's not so harsh of an end. So next I'm just going to curl my lashes and apply mascara. This one is the Lights Camera Lashes from Tarte. And I had heard a lot about this mascara when it first came out, that it was really great, and I don't find that a lot of mascaras make much of a difference to me because my lashes are so they're short and not very curly, so they're just kind of crap, so there's not much the mascara can do for me. But I really do like the effect that this mascara gives. It's kind of one of the rare times that I'm impressed with the mascara. So the lashes that I'm using are from Eye Candy, and they're the number 14s, so nice and wispy. So I'm just going to apply those off camera as well as doing my brows, and I'm literally just going to fill it in with one shadow. That's 329 here from Inglot, and I'm using that on the 31T Inglot angle brush. It's just a very fine synthetic angle brush. So I'm literally just going to fill it all in like as I did on this side, just with that one shadow. So now that we have our eyes and brows on, we're going to move on to the face. So for my primer, I'm using number 7's Shine Free Primer to keep me nice and matte. And for my base, I'm using the Nima Brush. This is the round-headed kabuki. Personally, these are just my favourite types of foundation brushes because I feel like I get the most coverage and a more flawless finish with them. For my foundation then, I'm mixing Estee Lauder Double Wear in Desert Beige with Cover FX Custom Cover Drops in G40. So I just blend the foundation into my skin in circular motions, and then where I want more coverage I just pat the foundation on. And the shape of a brush like this allows you to do that without getting kind of any streaks or dots. For my under eyes, I'm taking the Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer in number 2. And then I'm blending that out with a synthetic fluffy brush. This one I just got as a set from Wish. It's just like a cheap set, but it actually is really good. The whole line is actually really good. So I'm just going to blend that out. And just be careful not to ruin my blend under my eye, but I will be going back in just to touch that up as well afterwards. So as I said, I'm just going back in with a little bit of the yellow and just running that under my shadows, just to make sure we didn't lose any of that with the concealer. To set my face then, I'm going in with MAC's Studio Fix Powder in NC30, and I'm taking a Real Techniques large powder brush. And again, I'm pushing that onto the skin to get A, the most amount of coverage, and B, so I'm not moving the product underneath. So then for bronzer, I'm taking a Sleek Suede Effect Pressed Powder in number 2. It's well loved, as you can see, and the Real Techniques blush brush. So I'm kind of hitting my contour areas around the hairline, under the jawline and under the cheekbone, but I'm blending it out a lot more, and I'm using a warmer shade as I normally do, just as kind of like a transition shade. And then I go back in and really sculpt out with a cooler shade. And then before I sculpt out that contour, just because I'm going to be using the same brush, I'm going to do my blush, and I'm taking the Kiko Soft Touch blush in 105. It's just this really neutral mauvey pinky shade. Kind of goes with everything. It's nice and subtle because I think I want to do a coloured lip rather than a nude lip, so I don't want to go too over the top. So that's just going on the apple of the cheek and blending backwards. And for my brush, I'm taking the Andy brush from Nima, and this is like an angled contour brush. It's more of a thicker, on the thicker side, and it has shorter length bristles, which I appreciate because I don't like angled brushes that are A, too thin, and B, are too long, so they kind of are more wiggly, and if they're not going to be a good blending brush, then I don't want any wiggle like that. I prefer to be able to kind of have a sturdier brush that I can pack on the colour. But the bristles aren't too densely packed either, there's a bit of movement in there so that you can start to blend it out as well. So I like the way that this angled brush in particular is made. So I'm picking up my colour on the angle of the brush, and then I'm just going to sweep that into the actual right under the cheekbone where I want it to be kind of most hollow looking. And then I'm just going to do slight flicky motions upwards to blend it up. And I'm doing the same with my hairline. I'm just keeping the colour, the cooler colour, closer to the hairline and not blending it out so much. And then I'm going to do a little bit of nose contour, and I'm going to go back to the Nicola brush that I was using on the eyes. And I'm using this brush in particular because it's a pointed blended brush. It's not rounded like this one. I'll just give you a close up there. It's not rounded like the white one. It has more of a point to it. So it's going to be that bit more precise, but it's not going to be too precise and harsh like a little bullet brush would be. So it's kind of in between a rounded blending and a bullet brush. And I'm using that Ben Nye taupe shade. I'm just taking a little bit at a time with nose contouring. It's so easy to go over the top with it. And then once I have my shading in, I'm going back in with my pressed powder, the Studio Fix, what has that bit of colour in it. And I'm just taking that along the edges of my shading just to help make sure it's nice and blended. Because as I say, it's very easy to go harsh. So I'm just kind of pushing that all over to make sure it's nice and even. For my highlight then, I'm going to go to the Sleek highlighting palette in Solstice, this beauty right here. It's been quite popular on beauty blogs and beauty channels lately. And I actually reviewed this as well as its sister palette in Precious Metals. I reviewed the two of those on my blog. So I'll link that down below as well if you want to have a look off that. And I'm going to be taking this bright peachy shade right here, and I'm going to pop that just onto the tip of the nose and the cupid's bow. And then I'm going to switch over to my favourite cheekbone highlight brush, which is the Morphe M501, and pop that just on the tops of the cheekbones and just up onto the temple as well. That is our face done. So then onto lips. I'm just going to pop on a quick lip liner. This is Revlon's Colour Stay in Nude. It's just like kind of a brownie nude shade. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's what you want. And then for my lip colour, I was given these samples a little while back from Estee Lauder. They're the Pure Colour Envy Liquid Lip Potions. So you get 4 shades inside, just little sample shades, and then a little disposable applicator to apply them with. So I'm going to try the shade Fierce Beauty, which looks to be kind of a peachy corally shade. And I'm just going to try the little applicator with it, because what the hell. Oh, they're nice and thick and creamy. That's way brighter than I thought it would be, and I much prefer it like that. Really nice pigment. And really soft. And comfortable. And you literally need the tiniest amount. So that is the lip colour, which I really like. It's kind of set to a slightly matte finish, but it's still a little bit creamy and it's more comfortable. It's not like totally dry matte. It's quite nice on the lips. And then our last step is just to let our hair down from this little spoolie one that was holding it up. And we'll get ourselves picture ready. And we'll pop in our hoops as per usual, because that's just how we do on this channel. And that is the finished look. So I'm going to put close-ups at the end, and I'll have more pictures on my blog, where I'll also have a full list of all the products and brushes I use, so I'll link that down in the description box below. But I hope you like the look. I certainly do. I love these kind of sunset colours on the eye. And if you did enjoy the tutorial, don't forget to give a thumbs up by clicking the like button down below. It helps me out a lot. Also subscribe if you haven't already, where you can see all my videos when they come through. And if you have any requests for future looks, don't forget to leave them down in the comment section below. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I will hopefully see you on the next one. See you later, guys.